card reveal day number 1 has just ended. We got a whole bunch of brand new cards from a bunch of different outlets. If you're not aware, card preview season is underway for RIFTBOUND. I'm going to be joined by Gale, a community member who is a part of a RIFTBOUND podcast. He helps run the Piltover Archive website. Well, he modifies the database and occasionally breaks it, but he and I were already talking about the brand new cards, so we thought, why not record it? So let's go over all of the brand new cards revealed today. All right, let's start off with Herald of Scales revealed by RIFTBOUND Meta, otherwise known as Zach. We have a 4 energy, 3 might unit, orange unit. Your dragon's costs are reduced by 2 to a minimum of 1. Any big thoughts on the Herald of Scales?
Oh, it's my favorite Timmy card.
You think this is a Timmy card? Just straight up Timmy?
I mean, Timmy's can be good decks too at some point, but I mean, we don't have anything for it right now. We just have Blazing Scorcher.
Well, that's not true.
What else?
There's Blazing Scorcher. We have Cadrigan.
Cadrigan, that's the other one.
I think there's one more I'm missing. There's the green one, but obviously if we're doing that in like Lee Sin, for example, we're missing out on the red ones that we just talked about. So
yeah.
Obviously there must be some dragons that we're missing here. I will say one thing that you don't necessarily think about when you're first reading this card is that, of course, this like stacks, right? So, 2 of these on the board. Now our dragons are costing 4 less. 3 of these on the board, they're costing 6 less, right? At some point, there's a critical mass where this is getting a little ridiculous.
That's true. But how much tempo loss are you taking for that?
Yeah, that's true. I will say that Scorcher being reduced probably helps you catch up on tempo pretty quickly, right? Or like anything that has accelerated printed on it.
And also, I will note that a minimum of 1 can be applied last in your discounts. So if you have another discount that is just a flat reduced by 1, your dragons can end up costing 0.
Interesting. Oh, that's rules as written, maybe not as intended.
No. That's pretty clear. That's pretty clear.
All right.
And they even use that as an example.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I think it will be a good card when we get like a good dragon deck going. But how many tribals do we need for this to end up going? I don't know. Will it happen set 1? Probably not.
Yeah, that's kind of where my instinct at. My instinct is saying that this type of effect will be very powerful, and because this type of effect will be very powerful, they were probably careful with it in set 1 and gave it some room to breathe. I doubt there's like enough critical mass to make this card nuts, but I suspect that in due time, this will be like a staple in some like dragon tribal list.
Oh yeah, I agree.
This type of effect that's too potent to like never be good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just don't know if it's its time yet.
Then the second card from Zach was the Arena Bar. I think this was our first... No, I was going to say this was our first gear that wasn't a seal, but that's not true because we got the other ones on the gallery day.
The refuge.
Yeah. We have an orange gear, 3 energy, exhaust, buffed, and exhausted friendly unit.
This thing's nuts.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about this a decent amount, that the set needed some way to consistently get buffs out. Well, we found it. So
yeah, it's quite crazy.
I see you did this in the first game that we played with it, and then I've also seen a lot of people just not read the exhausted part of this and just assume it's like once per turn buffer thing. So it is.
Whoa, you had to call me out like that.
Yeah, I did. I really did. So it is worse than once per turn buffer thing, but it's like effectively once per turn buffer thing because you just like play the card, tilt it sideways because that's what happens when you play cards, and then put the buff on it.
Yeah, and even like after you move it, you can buff it too, right? Like it's not rocket science. I think it's basically a staple for every. Would I call it for every orange deck?
No, definitely not for every orange deck. No.
Really? Maybe.
We're not putting this in volley, brother.
Why not? I mean, this thing can represent.
But well, one of the reasons we're not putting it in volley is because this thing costs 3, which means we can't play it on 1. And if we're not playing Buccaneer or the other one, Catalyst, on 2, we're pretty sad.
You can play it on 1 going second.
It's true, we can play it on 1 going second. Do we run a card in our deck list for going first only? Oh, sorry, going second only.
Volley also has like floating mana that he frequently would keep out, right? Like, I think this can fit in somewhere in volley.
Nah, I don't see the vision. But I appreciate your dedication to the Arena Bar. I think it's obviously good in set, right? There's 3 of them set every time. I haven't thought enough about what Lee Sin looks like from a deck building perspective, but I imagine it's at least considerable in there. So this is going to be like a huge relevant card for sure. Zach won on his card reveals. These are like these are good card reveals.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Put it in Misfortune too? Surely you put it in Misfortune.
I think I'm running it in my Misfortune, but that might just be a symptom of not having access to enough cards. Yeah. Speaking of winning on card reveals, check out Simo's card. Another gear, very gear-heavy day. A 2-energy Mind Gear. Mushroom Pouch at the start of your beginning phase. If you control a face-down card at a battlefield, draw a card. There was some hesitancy in the community about this card being good for some reason, but this card is good. Yeah, I mean, you were in the call not long ago where someone was like, was questioning the power level of this card, right?
I ignored that.
Yeah, this card's nuts for Teemo. This is exactly the type of card Teemo wanted. We were talking about it when we played Teemo the first day that Teemo was revealed. It was like, wow, we have a lot of resources and not very many cards in our hand. It would be sure nice if we had access to some way of consistently drawing that Teemo could reasonably access, and Teemo's doing exactly this, right? He's taking control of battlefields early and he's trying to hold them, and if he succeeds at that, he gets to draw more cards, and it's going to be easier for him to hold when he has those card draws. So this is quite literally the exact card that Teemo wanted.
Yep. I mean, Teemo's general game plan is just hold both battlefields and keep hold of them until you take it back. Like, he doesn't want to let go of them ever. That's his whole game plan. So this card is just doing what he wants way better.
I will say, if there is gear destruction or even hidden destruction in the set, this card does get a lot worse.
Yeah, but if there's hidden or if there's hidden destruction in particular, like if you have a silver bullet for hiddens, I don't even know if you can play Teemo then.
Yeah, I'm with you. So,
so like yeah.
All right, we have 2 cards from the dev team revealed directly from the dev team. We have Cleave and Block. We'll do Cleave first. They're both kind of serving. They're both kind of giving similar energy. They're action spells that give buffs to your, well, not the mechanic buff, but they increase the might value of your card in some way. In the case of Cleave, we're giving a unit Assault 3 this turn. I think you were saying you didn't like this card, right?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it in Jinx in particular. I think for Jinx, you really just want to keep building your board. Like, your total might, your permanent total might amount is way more important in Jinx than your ability to get over something, because you'll eventually be able to get over something by just building up your base with Jinx.
I just think it's crazy tempo for Jinx. Like, she dumps her hand faster. She can go over the top of some of these cards that are starting to have better, like, mid-range stats. Like, you know, some of these cards with, like, Shield and Leona and all these other things, right? Like, pushing, like, a 5-cost card with a 3-cost card and chucking this on it, letting it go over the top. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about this card. But you are the Jinx player, so I'll trust your opinion for now. But my instinct is that it's good.
It looks way better than Get Excited. I'll say that. Like, I definitely can imagine playing this card way more than Get Excited.
Yeah, I'm with you on that for Jinx.
Definitely a sideboard card at the very least for certain matchups. Like, Leona's very annoying for Jinx to deal with because she can stun and then she's a 6. So if there's decks that have consistent 6 might units, Cleave is very important to get over because that's sort of Jinx's bar. That's her high bar. And I can definitely see it being a sideboard card for against Leona decks or any deck that has a 6 might holder of some sort.
I can't get over the vision of, like, turn 2, you know, Traveling Merchant, Noxus Rearguard, turn what would that be? Turn 3 into, like, Jinx, push the Noxus Rearguard against something with 6, Cleave the Noxus Rearguard so it goes over the top and gains the point, and push the Jinx onto something else. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like the tempo from this is crazy, but, you know, time will tell.
Maybe.
And then Block is kind of the defensive little brother of Cleave. 2 energy instead of 1. And it is a hidden card, which is also another big change compared to Cleave. But it also has action. It reads, give a unit shield and tank this turn. I think the tank thing is a massive deal here. Action or hidden timing for tank can be really good for any deck that's trying to hold, I think. Especially if they're trying to protect cards like Ahri that really want to specifically live, right?
Yeah, I haven't read this card. I forgot to read this card.
Is this card not nuts?
I don't like green. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I can see it in Ari for sure. I wonder. Okay, now I'm gonna go on a side tangent. I wonder what happens if I give Caitlyn tank.
Whoa, that is. I assume tank. I assume tank is prioritized.
I have no idea. I'd have to dig into it a little bit more, but
that would be two
yeah,
lines of text that contradict each other. I would have to assume. Actually, I could see an argument for like, oh, tank should always be the thing prioritized, or the text on the card should always be the thing that's prioritized.
Well, we have layers, but we don't have anything in layers if two effects are codependent. So these would be sort of codependent effects, where tank and I can't be damage. I have to be damaged last, right? Are sort of determining how each other works in a way. So I wonder if it falls into that codependent category that we don't have ruling for. That being said, card's good. I like it better than Cleave, in fact.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think block is really good. It actually makes me want to try and play some Ari. I've been avoiding Ari until we get some more cards, but this is the exact type of card I think I was waiting for. For
sure, this is the exact card you'd want, because you need some sort of. She also needs some sort of end game big bomb tank unit. But this can sort of
everything is a big bomb tank unit with this, right? Anything that
right, exactly.
So, yeah, stay winning Ari.
Lee Sin probably like.
Lee Sin?
Yeah, because Lee Sin's just a big unit.
Oh, the unit Lee Sin. Right.
Yeah. And like Lee Sin the legend, because he likes Lee Sin the unit.
Yeah, no, I follow you. I think you run current card pool, you run Lee Sin in Ari anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all the same deck in my mind. Alright.
That's
over to Darius Executioner. This was revealed from The Gamer. And it's just a Victor card. It's a 6 energy, 1 power, 6 might, with Legion when you play me, ready me. And your other friendly units here have +1 might.
So you're the Victor player, mainly. But what I see when I read this is it shores up Victor's main weakness of not being able to conquer. That was Victor's biggest weakness.
Mm-hmm.
While also giving a very potent buff wide, which is also what Victor wants to do.
Yeah, I follow.
And I think this card is better for Victor than it is for Darius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put 3 of this in Victor every time. Cruel Patron probably gets cut now, unlucky. His service has been over. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Darius is doing your job better.
Agree.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's like so obvious to me that this card is like 3 of auto including Victor. I don't know what Darius decks look like anymore. Now that I've seen this card, because I saw the other Darius and I'm like, this is just you just run this in Volibear and maybe in Jinx and probably in Misfortune. I don't know what the Darius deck looks like though. I guess it'll be the yellow Darius, and then we got the yellow Darius, and now I'm like, you just run this in Victor. I don't know what the Darius deck is now.
Yeah, I think Darius just gets sort of outclassed by every other deck in his color. Like, why would I play Darius when I can play Jinx?
Yeah.
If Darius is an aggro deck, I think Jinx is just going to be better at it. If Darius is supposed to be this sort of go wide deck, why would I not just play Victor? Like, both of his cards are better suited in the other decks. Yeah. I play Darius and Jinx. Red Darius, obviously.
I was cautious when we saw Red Darius and how much better it would be theoretically in other decks than what he was designed for. And but I was cautious. I was like, well, other Darius cards to be seen, whatever, wait. But like, there's no way, like, this card is encouraging me to go wide. There is no way that Darius is doing this better than Victor is. So
yeah.
So I don't know what I'm doing with the Darius Legend, but it's not this.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So
I don't like this card. I think you always play the other legend in Darius, or the other champion in Darius for sure. This one's never your chosen champion.
Yeah, I 100% agreed. I don't think that this makes the cut in whatever Darius is doing.
Yeah, it might not. Yeah, I don't know.
Darius is probably just running the red Darius because like it's just a really efficient unit. And then I don't know what the rest of the deck looks like. I mean, I think the Guillotine signature spell is good, but like that's not enough. Like there needs to be more. So
yeah.
Anyway, card good, maybe Darius Legend not. But, you know, plenty of cards to be revealed. These are just our current opinions. All right. And then the gamer also revealed English version of Caitlyn. We've had Caitlyn for quite some time because she was at the TFT Macau event for the Arcane promos. So we won't spend too much time on this, but any big thoughts on Caitlyn now that we've had some more context for the rest of the set?
Yeah, I mean, she has new life now in RE. It's probably her main good deck for her.
I will say,
it's nice to...
now with the with block, Caitlyn feels, the first line of Caitlyn's text feels like so unimportant to me now.
Yeah.
It's like, why does this even... Yeah, and I don't know if she's worth the early power cost.
Yeah, that's her biggest stumbling block for sure. That power cost.
It's like, she probably feels nice when going... I mean, I guess it depends on what the rest of the card pool is, but I feel like even if the rest of the card pool is insufficient for filling the role that she's currently filling, she'll very quickly get outclassed by new cards, because in my mind, it's like, we can't really run Wielder of Water in RE.
I know, I was like, Wielder of Water, good card.
Yeah, so Caitlyn is like our Wielder of Water in that deck, I think, in the sense that, like, it's just like our 3-drop that sometimes does crazy stuff. But like,
yeah.
But she doesn't do that role anywhere near as well as, say, Wielder of Water does in the decks that Wielder of Water wants to be in. So she's kind of just like, she's filling a really awkward role right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
she's definitely a fun card, though.
Yeah. Agreed. As a gigantic Caitlyn fan, I will say, I won't be using this very often. That's what I'll say. But anyway, on to what's up next. Oh, okay. So we're on to the last set of card reveals. This is the last wave that we got towards the end of the day for GameSpot. We're starting with Dangerous Duo, a 3-energy Fury card with 3 might. With Legion, when you play me, give a unit +2 might this turn. You're the Jinx guy, so what are we doing with this?
I think this might have a place in Jinx. I have not looked at what I would want to cut for it or anything like that, but I think this definitely is a solid addition.
It's interesting to me that you're more interested in a card like this than you are in, say, don't get me wrong, I can see why this is better than Cleave theoretically, but because obviously it's a body, but it's surprising to me that you're like excited, not necessarily excited, but you're significantly more enthusiastic about this than you were Cleave, where in my mind they're serving like relatively similar roles.
Yeah, the biggest difference is like this is
the body. You
know, a permanent body. A permanent body, it can always be on the board. And how big of a difference is 2 to 3? And how often will that make the difference?
Yeah.
I don't think it's as often as an extra 3 might permanently would suggest.
I like the idea of them both being in Jinx. Let me tell you, we can get up to +5 on a push now.
I mean, the thing about Jinx is that you also want to keep the ability to have a hold playstyle with Jinx, too. So if you go too far in a Conquer direction, then you lose out on her flexibility. And I think Dangerous Duo toes that line, where it is still able to be played in both sort of modes.
Mathematically, this card is good, but it falls on like a weird turn. Like, if you look at a 3-cost card, you think to yourself, or even like a 4-cost card, you'd be like, oh yeah, 5 might for this value, this is good. But because it's tied to a Legion effect, it's gonna come down like quote-unquote off curve. So it's like the math that it's representing here isn't like, it's not telling the whole story. So it's hard for me to evaluate it, to be honest. But
I'm evaluating it also without Legion. I am almost okay just playing a 3-mana 3-might unit. Sorry, 3-energy 3-might unit. I don't think that's horrendous. Sometimes you have to do that with Chompers too, and it feels bad, but it's not horrible. Like it's still a playable card.
Yeah,
base without.
Yeah, I follow you. Some percentage of the time you're going to play this without the Legion effect, and it's not going to feel awful. I just mean when you're evaluating the card on paper. I don't really know how to evaluate it on paper because the math looks good, but I don't know. I need to play with this card a bunch to see how I really feel about it. We have English Heimerdinger, similar to Caitlyn. We've known about this card for some time. I will say we've seen more and more of the set, and there isn't much to do with Heimer still. So, he's running out of cards. Every card that goes by, Heimer is getting worse and worse because I've ever since Heimer was revealed at the TFT event, I was like, okay, well, obviously he's going to be doing something with the rest of the cards because there's nothing to do with him right now. And we keep seeing more and more cards. I mean, I assume there's still something in there, but We've seen a handful of exhaust cards, and I don't think any of them I'm like, oh yeah, we need to run that. Honestly, the first card that jumps to my mind is a card that we're not even allowed to run, which is the bar. There'll never be a blue-orange deck because Mind Body are like the opposite color identities, and to my knowledge, they're avoiding using those. So Heimerdinger will never be using the bar unless it's in 2v2.
Yeah, this is a slow cooker card, though. This
Yeah.
card will be broken eventually.
Maybe, but it might be broken in like in a total format in 10 years when there were.
Yeah. Listen,
But
he's a slow
I
cooker.
want it to be playable in standard, and right now, ideally.
Well, he's clearly not designed for set 1, considering, like, he doesn't even function with the legends, really. Like, he can, right? Like, tap for 1 token, okay.
Wait, hold on.
Uh-huh.
I'm being too hard on Heimerdinger. His effect is for
Oh.
Kai'Sa.
Sure, but you didn't want to play him with a seal before. Why play him with a seal now?
Oh no, no, you're right. But I think that's what he was designed for.
Maybe, I can see that.
I think he was designed for Kai'Sa. That's my instinct. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying that I think he was
Yeah.
designed for Kai'Sa.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not designed for Teemo. That's not... Definitely doesn't matter for Ari, either. That legend effect is non-functional.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
what this card is
I don't
for.
know.
Hopefully there's something else in the set. And then the very last card we got for the day is probably the craziest line of text on a Riftbound card so far. And that is Ekko. 5 energy, 1 power, 5 might, Ekko recurrent. And he has Accelerate, Death Null, Recycle me to ready your runes. That's just all of your runes being re-readied.
I will say the first thing about this card, before we get into gameplay, is that I love the way the hand is coming out of the frame.
Yeah.
It looks very... Like, it gives a lot of desperation, and I love it. It feels very nice. I
will
like the art
say,
of it.
minor complaint. This is just kind of a symptom of the fact that they're reusing art that wasn't designed for this aspect ratio. For the hand to be doing that effect in the position that it's doing it in, Ekko is off-center. And it does irk me just ever so slightly that he's off-center. Just a small amount, you know. I do like the card art. I think it looks great. But it is mildly irritating that he's off-center like that. I
don't know how to feel about this card. I think it's obviously a good card. I just don't know where this card goes.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It theoretically the effect is nuts, right? Being able to ready all of your runes is like ridiculous. If you have 2 of them on the board, you're doing some crazy stuff, right? Like the ceiling of energy you have access to per turn has just like literally tripled. Because so
you can have them on the board in previous turns and then go for some big turn where you kill both your echoes, get 24 energy on top of whatever energy you have, right? Like there's definitely a world that can exist where this card pops off, but we need other cards that can benefit that much energy, basically.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's also the idea, we talked about this a little bit earlier before we did this recording, is that maybe you just like put him in like non-crazy decks. You just like use him as his floor, which is that you play him accelerated. You kind of play him as like a 5 might free card, right? You play him on curve, you push him into something, you let him die, and then you recycle you recycle him, ready your runes, and then it's kind of like you just played something for free, which...
Well, it's free -2 because he recycles 2 runes.
Yes, but like...
Yeah.
That's why I said, you know, sort of free.
Yeah.
He does kind of have the problem that you were talking about where he doesn't like immediately have a home. I'll quickly run over this, but Victor doesn't want to run this, I don't think. And if he does, you probably want to build like a different version of Victor. And then all of a sudden there's 2 good Victor archetypes running around. Well, him and Jinx are kind of like the meta right now. Or like if you were to try to be building out the best decks in the game, it would probably look like Jinx and Victor. That version can't afford to run this Ekko. There's too many deck building concessions you have to make. It might be the case that the 3 best decks in the game right now are yellow Victor, yellow blue Victor, and Jinx. But you know, who knows? We haven't experimented with that too much. I do like the idea of running him in Ari theoretically, because if he dies during the opponent's turn, there's still things that you can theoretically do with like reaction stuff. But yeah, I think people first read this card and they think about like the ceiling But I don't think we want to be targeting the ceiling for this card.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier with... I think this card could work as the high end for an aggro deck, where you can use this card as your final push and just play out your whole hand with him.
Yeah.
And then that is your final gambit. All your cards are gone. You have played this Ekko that has gotten you this momentary boost in tempo. Now you win the game. I can see that world much clearer than I can see a world where Ekko is a combo piece.
You don't even need to ready so many runes, right? Like, maybe you're just happy to, like, recycle a lot with whatever deck you're building here, theoretically. And then, maybe Ekko's only generating you, after he's played himself and he's, done his accelerate recycle. Maybe he's only readying 4 runes for you. But maybe that's enough, right? 4 runes to cast, I don't know.
Right.
Something. 2 stupefies. I don't know.
2 Noxus Hopefuls.
Yeah, sure. And that's just, like, enough. 4 free energy is your floor. You're at a good start, right?
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's where I think this card is going to find a home in, is a more aggressive style deck. I don't think you play him to get this massive payoff. You play him for the now.
Yeah, no, I follow you. I will say, to your point about kind of dumping your hand, I think most of these aggressive decks, at least non-Jinx decks, are going to feel like they run out of resources before an effect like this goes off. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So...
Yeah, oh no, I'm familiar with you.
So, for that reason, I'm really hesitant about Ekko. I think everyone's going to read this card and be like, oh, this card's absolutely broken. But there's 2 things that I'm really concerned about. The actually having resources that you want to... actually having things to play with the resources that you're generating with him. And then also, he doesn't have, like, a clear home. And those 2 things are not really, like, a good... Those are bad omens, okay? So, it wouldn't surprise me if this card doesn't end up finding an obvious home. And it might take some time before people really crack the puzzle for Ekko. Alright, well, that's all the cards we got. And now we all hibernate for 2 days, waiting for more card reveals. How did you feel about our first real card reveal day? Obviously, we had the card gallery day, but this is our first proper card reveal season day. Satisfied? Disappointed?
Drip feed kills.
The drip. Thank you so much for watching. Keep being awesome, and I will catch you in the next one. It should have just been the entirety of the reveals. Just give me them all.
Yep, I want to wake up 8 a.m. in the morning. I see all cards. I know all cards for the day, and move on.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Well, in the meantime, we get to yap about the potential of these cards and play half-baked decks on Tabletop Simulator, and that's what it's all about, baby.